Hi, my name is Scott Poucher, and if you're seeing this video, it's because you're part of my family that I don't get to see, or you're a friend or a close friend, or more likely, one of your good friends shared this video with you because they're a good friend of mine, and they care about me and my family. And I'm going to ask you to bear with me a moment and watch this video. One, so that you learn some lessons, which is an important legacy belief I have, sharing life lessons. But as I said, my name is Scott Poucher, and please visit scottpoucher.com. There are going to be links there for you to do a little part. Maybe I'll post some stuff about cancer. But about 36 hours ago, I got diagnosed with colon cancer. But this journey began about 14 months ago, and I've got to share a backstory so it all makes sense to you. But first of all, know my situation is dire financially, and why? Not because I wasted my money, not because I was lazy, not because I didn't work hard enough, because all my good friends will tell you I'm a workaholic, and I really try to help people, and I'm not greedy, which is, I guess, at least one good thing, right? But not really good when you do stuff in business. And so I help take care of my soon-to-be 91-year-old mother, who's about 90% deaf and 90% blind. So it's not that she can't handle life, she just needs a little help. And I've been able to work remote and be there for her during the day while my brother's at work. And a couple weeks ago, we had a septic flood, and it was in her space, and my brother had to drain all his savings to deal with that, because obviously there were deductibles with the insurance. And along with that, we also have taken care of my disabled brother, Kenny, who I took care of for like 13 or 14 years, and bore a lot of that burden. And then my brother tried to help him in the last couple of years, and it drained the other part of his savings for retirement. We were all trying to do the right things for people, right? For ourselves, for our family. But as a result, there's not an extra penny. And that's why I'm forced to make this tape, because healthcare in America is not very affordable. And 14 months ago, I was having these allergic reactions. They were very unusual allergic reactions. And one day I'd be allergic to eggs, the next day I'd be allergic to cheese, the next day I'd be allergic to bread, and it would change and it wouldn't be consistent. And I wound up doing a telemed session and saying, how do I get tested for allergies? And he's like, gave me a medical term, and he's like, allergies don't normally work this way. He said, sir, your body is fighting like an autoimmune disease. And because it's fighting an autoimmune type disease, whether it's lupus or HIV or any one of hundreds of autoimmune diseases probably, that's one of the things we see, is what he said. Well, I knew that because I hadn't really had any dating experiences. I knew that it wasn't a couple of those things, but it was a wake-up call, and I got some blood panel work done. I worked to get better insurance on the ACA, which we got to keep our government doing that for people like me and people like your family members. And I was able to get better insurance, but it still had a higher deductible. And then at the beginning of the year, the doctors met me, did blood work, and it showed that I had reduced kidney function, reduced liver function. Everything on the blood panel was red except for one thing, my PSA score, which I misunderstood. I'm usually a pretty smart guy, but I misunderstood, and I thought that meant that the cancer fear that I had, because I thought I probably had cancer, was not the case, and I was happy. I found out I had type 2 diabetes, and they told me that that was the root cause of all of my problems. They hyper fixated on it, but I ate a phenomenal diet, listened to my doctors, highly recommend that, and I got my points, my A1C down. And everybody was like, oh, that's so wonderful. But I was still feeling bad. I was feeling weak. I was feeling lethargic. I was having different things going on. And I didn't convey it enough to my doctor. So I'm going to tell you as a life lesson, because I have another friend who had heart issues who shared basically that stuff with his doctor. And before he had a massive heart attack, they caught it. So I'm telling you, share things with your medical people. So months went by, and finally I rang the alarm bell, and I said, we've got to dig. And they did Cologuard because the insurance company said, that's the first step, losing me about a month or more. Then we did a colonoscopy. That doctor, they found some polyps, and they found the mass, which is, I guess, also called a polyp, but it's called a flat polyp. And he had probably suspicions it was cancer, but kind of wasn't forthright with me, didn't tell the truth. But he did a wonderful thing, and he got me to a doctor at the Atrium Health Group, Dr. Dries, however you say his name, highly recommend him. Great doctor, highly skilled, amazing professional. When he got a hold of me, he got black and white photos, so just so you know, most colon cancer, if it's multicolor, if you see pictures of your colon and the polyps are multicolored, it's probably cancer. So at this point, he went in, he cut as much out as he could, but the cancer is deep, deep, deep down in the colon wall. And in the beginning, until he got in there, he didn't realize it was cancer. But he couldn't go any further because of where it was located. Think of it as a nail in layers of sheetrock in the colon wall. And it's real deep, and if he had cut any further, he would have punctured my colon wall. So I've been set up for emergency surgery to remove a portion or a lot of my colon. I'm not sure how that works. Probably at that time they'll light me up like a Christmas tree and find out how far the cancer spread. But as I shared the weird allergic reaction, this is the next part. If the nail penetrated the colon, which I think it did, and it spread into other parts of the body, meaning it metastasized, which was probably the autoimmune response. That explains the reduced liver function, the reduced kidney function that I've experienced. That means that I've lost 14 months of treatment time. I'm probably not going to fare well, probably not going to be on this planet very long, so this message isn't just about treating me. I'm begging you to help a family. My brother has always tried to do the right thing, my older brother. He's got a decent job and he's worked hard, but he's drained his money to care for my brother and my mother, and now he's going to have to care for me and stop working probably. And there's not enough money because of that. This is going to be a very bad outcome, and if I pass, my income's lost. I didn't think, because I was a single guy with no kids, that I wasn't thinking that I needed more life insurance. Make sure you have enough life insurance. Good life lesson. So it's not enough for him to take care of my mom, take care of the bills and retire. I need some people to step up and give, because if you don't want the government to do things, or because the government isn't doing things, then if you're a Christian, you're called to be Christ-like. You're called to give and to help. If you help the least of these, and at the moment, I am the least of these. If you help the least of these, you're doing his work. And I'm asking you to go to scottpoucher.com. I'll have up a link to a GoFundMe. And I promise you, if there's money left over, I'm not going to use it for me. I'm going to use it to help fight cancer, help other people. I always pay it forward. I always pay it forward. I'll post videos there of my life lessons because I need to leave a legacy. I want to be an impact. I want to be an impact. I don't want to be just like I wasn't here. So I need you to share this with your friends. I need you to ask them to step up too. They don't know me. You might not know me. But my mom, she's always been a good person. She's been in the South and been pretty much house isolated for years, so she doesn't have a lot of friends. And the friend that she had has passed. My brother's always worked really hard like me. Doesn't have a lot of friends. Even my brother Kenny, who's come down here, it's been hard for a disabled guy who doesn't speak very well and isn't really at the same level as many of you. It's hard to make friends. So I need the world to be our friend right now. I need the world to step up. Blow my socks off, people. Please help my family. If I'm gone, help my family. Please.